So this is discussion boards for engagement. Today I'm going to present some strategies for encouraging student discussion using discussion boards. I will also briefly present some of the tools that you can use to employ these strategies. And the first thing I want to do is, if you could go to your Jamboard, and please go to Jam page number 3, which is what you see in front of you now if you're on the Meet. And the question I want you to respond to is this: individuals can choose their own destiny. Their choices are not dictated or limited by the constraints of society. And what I want you to do is make a sticky note. So right underneath the pointer arrow on the left-hand toolbar is a square with a little folded edge on it. That's sticky note. And what you would do is click on that one time, and then just put your name in there, and then click Save. And then bizarrely, you have to click Cancel to get rid of that. And then place that in the quadrant where you agree most. Please try not to go on a line. All right, we all good? All right, who went on a line? Stacy. So let's talk about this a little bit. This is different than my last group. So I just did the same presentation for the high school, and I had a very different result. So I'm interested in people who disagree. Does someone want to give one reason why you disagree?
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm home. That's why and I was trying not to eat in your face, which is why I turned off my camera.
I have Kit Kat right here, so I'm gonna be eating it soon. So don't worry.
Like a constant snacker in the TikTok. I disagree because it's your starting point, right? Everybody comes from a different background and childhood experience, so that's kind of on the fence. So I disagreed.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with her, only because I feel like sometimes people's situations dictate what their destiny is, and everyone's experiences are very different.
Okay. Anyone, Kathy, you strongly agree. Do you want to give a reason why?
I'm probably lazy to move it, but I just agreed, whether it be strongly or agree. So it didn't matter which one I did, but I guess I'm going on my own personal, that I just felt like I chose my destiny. So I went on my personal experience.
So I don't want to belabor this, but this is just one example of a way to generate some discussion with students by getting them to first think about a response, and just place where they are there, and then tell them you can't place where you are. After you place where you are, I need you to have at least 3 reasons for why. And there's a couple places you can go from here. One is you could collect everybody in the agree group and put them all into a breakout room if you're in a Google Meet. I actually was having trouble with breakout rooms until I realized you could just type kids' names into the room. I thought you had to click and drag them all, and it was taking me forever to split them in planned groups. But you can actually click on breakout group, breakout 2, and it says add name, and you can just type their name in, and it pulls from your list at the top of everyone in the main room. I found this out yesterday. So I'm happy to share that tip. It was life-changing because I teach mock trial, I coach mock trial, and I had to split up plaintiffs and lawyers and witnesses, and it was driving me up a wall, dragging kids, and it was so painful. So you just look at your top list and you just type in the name, the kid's name pops up, you click on them and they go in there. So I hope that made this time worthwhile for those of you who didn't know that before. So wow, I've earned my money. Thank you. I should just go out on a high note. One of my favorite Seinfeld episodes. So so this is 4 corners. Some of you have used this before. Can I just show of hands? Have you used this in your classroom? Oh no! Oh wow! Okay, it's normally you would do this in a classroom. There's like a get up and move exercise. So you would say, please go over there if you think this. Go over there if you think that, and etc. And again, like I said, from here they could go to a breakout room, or you could just have them defend their positions in front. And then, of course, you want to do this. You can do this now or online. It's a little bit tougher, but this is one tool. Jamboard's one tool you can use for this. You could also do it with Google Slides and Padlet if you're lucky enough to get in early on Padlet when they gave like 6 free Padlets to use. Now I think they give you like 2 before they make you pay. So Padlet's another great tool for that. But I'm finding Jamboard, I've just really learned it for this presentation, and I've really been pleased with a lot of the features. A couple things I want to argue with and talk to them about, but overall, I've really been happy with it. So just talking about if you ever want to make a template for yourself, you'll notice on the one that I had you working on, or maybe you didn't notice, is this is all one big background. And so what I did was I created it piece by piece on a page. So as individual text boxes and lines. So I put everything on there that I want kids to not be able to move around, because if you've got moving parts, they're going to find it and they're going to move it. So and I reduced it to one moving part. So I put it together first. Another trick, I'm hoping this also makes it worthwhile for you. If you want to make straight lines in any type of drawing program, the secret is, so you click on your pen tool, whatever they give you. We have 4 kinds of pens in Jamboard. You have a regular pen, which is a thin line. You have a marker, which is a thicker line. And then you have a highlighter, which I feel is like kind of a bit dark for highlighting. And then a paintbrush, which actually feel like is a better highlighter. But anyhow, to make straight lines in any drawing tool, if you hold down your Shift key while clicking and dragging, it will make a nicely straight line. So once you've created your page, what you want to do is up here in the top right is 3 dots, and you can just save the frame as an image. And once you've saved it, you can go to a blank page in your Jamboard and just paste it. You may have to like upload it from your memory of your computer, like it's on my hard drive, and just quickly upload it. It takes 2 seconds. So I'd go here. I've been doing this a lot today. So you click on your images, just browse, find your most recent image, and for me it's Jamboard PD session. And then it will paste it right on top. It takes really a second, so it makes a copy of that, and so there's no more moving pieces at that point. So that's a way to create some of your own templates. There are lots and lots of templates out there for people to use in Jamboard, though, so saving the people a lot of work. So another way another thing I want you to think about is I set you on the Jamboard. I gave you the question. I really didn't give you a lot of parameters, but what I'd like you to do is go to slide number 6 and take 1 second to think about, answer just one of these. Just put and color code it correctly. So whichever one you want to answer. But prior to opening Jamboards or other shared documents or shared discussion boards with students, what are some expectations? What is one expectation you might want to set for their participation? Or you could answer, what is one expectation you would have that you would set for them for how they use the tools? Or you could answer, what's an expectation for comments or written and spoken discussion? So just put a sticky note under one of these and just answer that question just with one example of an expectation you'd set for students. And I'll give you an example for number 1. I would put a sticky note that says, oh, Jamie, you took mine. Very good. Now I don't have to say it.
Sorry.
No, that was great. That saved me 10 words of speaking. Anything you're noticing that's a little bit annoying about these? Not your comments, but about using sticky notes here. I'm sorry. I should have been more clear. Your comments are awesome.
They're a little hard to see for those of us who are challenged visually.
Yep, that's one. So one thing you can do is click on one of them and pull the right or left bottom corners. Also, if you want to be fancy, you could click on it and click the top left circle and angle it. Let's just make it a little bit less readable, Dave. So there's not a lot that you can do, though. I love that one. Don't put your sticky note on someone else's. Yeah, these are perfect. Writing your name, getting kids to put their name on it. And one of the annoying features of this is there's no attribution to this. So you can't hold kids accountable if they do something really stupid on here, because you can't necessarily figure out who it is. That's one of my problems. That would be one of my things I think they could easily do. If they can identify everybody who's on this document right now up at the top corner, I can see all of you who are here. There's no reason why we can't say who contributed what. Or a version history would be really helpful for this, to see if someone wrote something stupid and then quickly erased it. But these are all really helpful, getting kids to put their names and setting these expectations before. So I am a big fan of using Google Classroom, the stream in front of opening that up to students for their participation for my class. But you can't do that without telling them, these are the rules. This is what I expect you to use this for. I want you to use this for posting questions about our homework or posting something that adds on to our discussion from class today. So setting those expectations before, I find most kids are going to want to comply with that. And yeah, and I'm going to emphasize the word most. And this is why we make the copy of the image so there's as few moving parts as possible, because you're going to get somebody who's going to move something. And also it's very easy. You'll notice I can move Julie's around her comment and I was able to resize it and do all those things to it. So don't mess with anyone else's comments is another good rule.
Dave.
Yeah.
When these, like we have the sticky notes on there now, can I also save this as an image? Like if I want to share this with the students, is that how I would share this type, or save and share, or how would I, is there another
right one? So
I've never used Jamboard before.
Yeah, on the top right corner, those three dots, there's a couple of things you could do. One is I can download it as a PDF. I can rename it. I can make a copy of this whole Jamboard session, so I could share that with them, and just saving the frame as an image. So it saves it as a picture, and right away it downloads it to whatever computer you're on. But it's a picture, and those can't be moved after that. They can be moved on this page, but they can't be moved on your image. Is that helpful? Great. All right. If you've done anything with Affinity Mapping before, this is another thing you could do with, and this sounds like a whole lot more. It's really a variation of Four Corners. I've used it, so when I was in administration, I did it. I would do school walkthroughs, and I would do it with a group of teachers, and we would collect notes on what we noticed and saw in a classroom. We'd go back to the media center or some meeting spot, and we would just brainstorm on sticky notes. We put one idea per sticky note and just put them all out there. And then we would organize the sticky notes by topics that we thought were relevant. So maybe we were talking about engagement that day, student engagement and evidence of engagement. And then maybe we would organize them by verbal versus written, or just things that we saw. But we would organize all of our notes, and it's a way of brainstorming. It's a way of reorganizing your thinking and getting you to possibly find problems or just view similarities and create these response maps. So there's more to it, and you can look up Affinity Mapping. There are actually some on Pinterest. I found some really basic ones for like an elementary level. Like it's a great way you could do a class mission statement, having kids all brainstorm one idea that could be included in it, grouping them into groups, and then coming up with your mission statement from there, saying, oh, these are all kind of similar. How can we say that in one sentence? So it's just another way of graphically representing something for students, just to help them organize their thinking. Another thing is a Frter model. If you've never used this, this is a great way for getting kids to understand terminology or definitions. So in the center of this graphic organizer is the word or the term that you want to define. And then in the left quadrant, top left quadrant, you actually put the textbook definition of it, the dictionary definition of the item or whatever you're working from. And then on the right-hand side, you get students to name the characteristics of the word to be defined, and then provide examples of it. And then the really powerful part of this is providing non-examples, because that really solidifies it. If you can provide a non-example for something, you really know what it is you're talking about. And this is another fixed thing. I put it together first. I put my terms on there. And then I took a snapshot of this image and placed it on here. So if I had kids working on it, they can't move anything around other than their sticky notes. Or this background if they're clever enough to find that, which somebody will. Another thing you can do is gallery walk. Here's my Bitmoji Dolly piece of work. But so a couple limitations of Jamboard, you can only have 20 slides in a Jamboard. So if you have a larger class, you're going to need two groupings of that. But you could assign each kid a number of a slide and say, I want you to put a picture of your artwork on here, maybe some notes you took or a diagram you did, if it was science, whatever. Put their work here and then leave half of the space for other students to make comments on it. And say, I want you to go through and make a comment on 5 different slides. And then tell them to, all right, I want you to, if you're going to make a negative comment or make a criticism, try to word it starting with the word consider. Consider adding a background, or consider changing your facial expression because it looks ridiculous, or something like that. But say it in a kind way.
Can I ask a question? Is there a way to conceal the sticky notes prior to, if you're all using, how people nick each other's ideas for answers? Is there a way to conceal the sticky notes and then release them? You know how you can do that in like certain Nearpod things?
Yeah, no, there's not on this. It's pretty immediate. This is really, Jamboard is like a really basic whiteboard.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the not good things about it, but actually one of the good things about it is the ease of use. If you've never done fishbone diagrams, it's great for looking at doing a cause and effect analysis. Putting your problem here, and then each of these pieces of the skeleton or each of these bones is a cause of the problem, and then you can talk about the causes of the cause and really get meta on this. And it just makes a cool way of just mapping. This could be used in an ELA class, like if you're mapping what caused a problem in a story. It could be used in science, or even, I shouldn't really say problem, but like maybe a result of a science experiment. How did you get there? What were the steps that took you there? It's just one way of graphically organizing that. You could use Jamboard just as a check-in for students. You could just have check-in, and when they walk in, you want them to check on something. It could be like, what is something that you learned last night from last night's homework? What is something that you have a question about? What is something that that you just don't even understand? Another way of graphic representing just someone's work on something with this is visual exploration of the outsiders by a student. Shannon did not make this. She's a librarian at Sedgwick. She is an example of students' work. She's way better than that. You can create Venn diagrams and then again have students comment on how other people worked on the diagram. This is something I invented called new, and And so new is, what did you know from your reading last night? What did you already know about? And then the middle one is new. What was new to you? What jumped out is something that that's new learning. And then the is what questions you might have. I think it's going to catch on. I'm going to copyright this in about 10 minutes after this presentation. So I had a teacher at UConn. He was trying to coin the term possilque for persons of the opposite sex sharing the same living quarters. And for some reason, I went to school, this is 1980, 1986. I heard him say this. It's stuck in my head, so it worked for me, but none of my classmates remember it. So, and just a quick overview of the tools. Nearpod has a collaboration board. It is not nearly as robust in terms of it looks better. It looks way better, but you can't organize the stickies very well. It does save the work, so you do know, and I think you do know who does what. But I think I prefer the Jamboard better. Padlet is another way, like I said, that you can do this, but it costs money. You can also do it with Google Slides. If you add a shape to a slide, you can add multiple shapes very quickly, and then and once you click on that shape, a student can type on it. Again, I just feel like it's a little bit more cumbersome.
Hey, Dave, quick question.
Yep.
Will our departments pay for our Padlet subscriptions, do you think?
I think you could talk them into it if you could really, like, especially, you know, I'm thinking in art, it's an awesome use of it. It's just, it's just really pricey.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if the three of us bought a subscription, could the 3 art teachers use one, or is that not how it works?
I don't know that it works like that. You have to use logins, and I think you log in with Google, so you tell each other your passwords. Yeah, that can be scary. So finally, there are just some pitfalls again, and we've already gone through those. And I just want to thank you. What I'm going to give you in the chat box right now is a copy of my notes for this presentation. And let's get this here. And on there, way down at the bottom of it, under other resources, I do have something called Dave's Jamboard cheat sheet. And it does give step-by-step how to create a Jamboard, how to add new slides, how to use all the tools, even though they're kind of self-explanatory. The most fun one I didn't point out is this little laser at the bottom. It just, you draw on it and it goes away. So it's very zen. I could do this for a very long time and be kept amused. So it doesn't take much for me. So thank you all for your time. I hope you got something out of this, and enjoy your next session.
Thank you.